Thank you for signing up for this video series. So please check your inbox, my welcome email, and be sure to click on the confirmation link. There's a confirmation link there so that you'll receive updates when I post the second and the third video. Alright? Okay, so let's do this. In today's video, you will discover why and how doctors make a fortune without even trying. And I'll reveal to you why doctors are indeed the best marketers, the best salesperson, and we can learn a lot from these people, right? But before we do that, is it okay with you if I share a little bit about myself? I think it's important for you to know at least a little about me because, so that you know that I'm not some bad guy or anything. I'm just a normal guy, right? I'm a normal guy, and what I'm trying to say is anyone who intends to start a business doing what they love can really succeed, because believe it or not, I used to be just someone with a dream, and then it became a reality. So here are some things you must know about the person you're looking from, okay? So this is me. My name is Saiful Rizal, and I'm the founder of Math Prodigies Learning Center Private Limited. First things first, I am not a marketing guru. Let me start with a confession. I am not a marketing guru. Now, I'm not one of those guys who are marketing gurus who have a team of people working on their websites and videos professionally. So you're not gonna see like really beautiful videos with those cartoon drawings as I speak, or maybe you see some really nice videos with a good background at the back. No, right? You're just gonna see simple PowerPoint presentations like this, but trust me, the things you're about to learn is powerful. I've designed these videos such that every one of them will give you one really powerful strategy for you to go out there and implement and make money now. Like seriously, I have taught this to people over tea, and they've gone out, they used it and make some money for themselves. Which brings me to my next point. Why? Why am I doing this? The biggest reason why I am doing this is because so many people have asked me, how? Saiful, how did you manage to do this? How do you go from a student to being a business person who is very successful? How do you go into one of the most, if not the most crowded market in Singapore, the tuition market, and be successful at it? How do you sell without actually having to be there to sell? How do you convert clients so easily? There's so many questions, right? And I really wanted to help these people, and I really did. I meant to meet them, but I realized that there's just not enough time, right? So I thought, why not, I'm just going to create a whole bunch of these videos. I don't really want to teach this, but because if it really helps someone out there, like myself, to go out there and really create success for themselves, then why not? Because believe it or not, if you go out there and you buy all these programs from these marketing gurus, who have tell you that they have the best internet marketing techniques, and they do work, right? You're not gonna get the same kind of results as they do. Now the reason is that the copywriting is the most crucial part of any marketing funnel or any marketing sales plan or whatever it is, right? Because you can do the same mechanics, you can have the same structure, but if you do not have powerful copywriting, then it just goes to nothing, you see. So moving on, which brings me to my next point, right? I just graduated from university, right? And I just thought that, I want to share this with you because to most of you, I'm just a kid. I really am just a kid. I'm 26 years old. I just graduated from university, as I told you before, National University of Singapore, and I should be out there like the rest of my peers looking for a job, but somehow God has been very kind to me, has dealt me a very good set of cards when I figured out the formula that I'm about to share with you that has helped me succeed over the past few years, right? And I'm going to share that with you, and I want to tell you this: I'm 26 years old, I can do this, if you have so much more experience, be it real world experience or whatever it is, you can do it too. And if you're just starting out, if you're just like me, guess what? I did it, and so you can do it too. That's all I'm saying. So let's move on. I'm going to share with you the 3 dimensions of the quick startup formula. Now these 3 dimensions are going to be shared with you over the next 3 videos, and they come in the form of the doctor, the superhero, and the salesman. So I'm just going to give you the best parts of this. What I'm doing now is I'm actually putting together a whole bunch of video series that will teach you how to do copywriting, powerful copywriting, to infuse into your marketing plans and into your sales and everything else to make sure you succeed. But what I'm doing now, that thing, which is the home study course, this video series is gonna be the best of it. You know, this, okay, not the best, but some of the best things that you can get out of it that I think will be crucial so that you can go out there and create results now. So, number one, the first video is called Doctor's Orders, and we'll be going through why and how doctors, make money, make a fortune without even trying. And number two is going to be called Don't Be a Hero. Now, in this video part series, I will share with you how to position yourself, your products and your services in such a way that it evokes strong emotions in your prospects and create urgency, so that the only logical step they can take after visiting your website is to call you and inquire you about your products and services. And when they call, they will almost be rushing you to take them as your client. How's that? Sounds amazing, right? The third video, The Death of a Salesman, will teach you how to consistently and easily convert 3 out of 4 prospects. Now that's a 75% closing ratio, who call you into paying clients, to call you and turn them into paying clients without having to feel like you're pushing your services to them, and instead feel like you're doing a great service to these people because they really need you and really want what you have, and you can make a big impact in their lives. Okay, so by this point you would notice that I've made a few mistakes in the way I speak. I've made a few mistakes in the slides and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm not one of those gurus. I'm just a guy who wants to share this stuff. So there you go. There's gonna be mistakes. All right, let's move on to the actual content of this video. So here's why doctors make a fortune without even trying. Like I said, this is taken from my home study course, and it's only one of the many structures you can use for your copywriting, but I feel this is one of the most powerful ones that I still use up to today. So I'm going to share with you this formula, and it's going to be the cornerstone, right? It's going to allow you to learn the basics of effective copywriting, which will allow you to create an authentic connection with your prospects so that they will see you as a trusted advisor and would rather buy from you than your competition, even though you might be completely new in the market. And so let's imagine a time when you went to the doctors and you were really, really, really sick. I mean, really sick to the point where, like on a massive level where you're saying things like, "Oh, just make it stop. I'll pay any amount to get this pain. I'll do anything actually to get this pain out of my system," right? So imagine that. Now, I'm going to share with you my experience so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Recently, I had experienced one of the most painful pains. Does that make sense? One of the most painful experiences of my life when I had tonsillitis. I didn't know what it was. All I knew was that I had a sore throat, and then it just developed into tonsillitis where every single time I swallowed, believe it or not, it felt like there was a scalpel, there was like a knife going down my throat, and I can't eat anything. It's even painful to drink. And I said, "God, what am I doing? I mean, I don't know what I've done. I'm really sorry, but please just get this out of my system. Please heal me somehow." And so I went to the doctors. And they diagnosed it as tonsillitis, right? And they said, "Okay, we're gonna try something. We're gonna give you some injection and give you some I don't know what it was. It was something for bacteria or something. I can't remember what it was. But basically, they misdiagnosed me, and it didn't work. I suffered the pain for another week before I went to the ENT, the ear, nose, and throat doctor, and after that, it became much better. So. And believe it or not, I had to I really did anything. They put a camera down my nose, up my nose, down my throat. And it was really, really painful, and I paid a huge amount of money for it. But at the end of the day, you know what? I said, "Okay, doctor, do whatever it takes. I'll pay any amount of money and just make the pain go away." Right? And you've probably experienced something similar. And if you notice, hospitals are actually a business, right? Hospitals are really a business, and Singapore has one of the best medical hospitals, and people fly all around the world to come to Singapore because they feel that this can really help, you know. And in that lies the answer to your marketing problems. So let me share with you this. Here's why they make a fortune. Number one, you have a pain, right? You have a really strong pain that you need to get rid of. Two, they diagnose you. There's the diagnosis. You know, you don't know what is wrong, and they find out for you what is wrong. And number three, there is the prognosis. The prognosis basically means how you are going to develop, or how the disease or how the pain is going to develop over time. You know, if left untreated, and if treated, what will and how long will it take for it to go? And lastly, doctor's orders. So it could be a prescription drug, it could be a surgery, and it might be superbly expensive whatsoever. You will still do it to get rid of the pain. Am I correct? Yeah. So let's start with this. Let's start with the very first one. You are in pain. I am in pain. I just want it to stop. I need to see a doctor. Just pause there for a moment. It's one thing to want something, but it's also another thing to need something. In this case, you need a doctor. And a doctor is someone who already has qualifications, already has proof that he can help you. Now that's one thing to take note of as we go along. So like I said, you have a pain and you have a compelling desire to get rid of it, and there's urgency. Now these three things, if you can infuse it into your copywriting, if you can identify what pain and bring it out of your prospects in your copywriting, that's powerful. But if you have that, plus you create or you evoke the compelling desire from them to go and do something about that pain, that's even more powerful. But if you put in another element, which is urgency, when you say things like this is gonna be available only for the first 10 people, or maybe up until 12 p.m. When you create an urgency, plus you evoke a desire, and you create that pain, you identify that pain properly, believe it or not, that's superbly powerful copywriting. Yeah, and that will compel the people to go and buy whatever you are selling, and that will really change your results. So once that's done, you move on to the next one. Now, did you know that? Okay, I'm just gonna show this photo. This photo is actually like a cartoon version of House. I don't know whether you watched the show. It's called House. And the second thing, like I said, is the diagnosis. So what's wrong with you today? That's what the doctor always says, right? What's wrong with you today? Can I help you? In this case, do you believe it that they actually ask hit and miss questions? Like they ask you, okay, so what's wrong with you today? Then they'll say something like, I have a fever, and I've been having it for the past 3 weeks. Now something is off, right? So then the doctor will go asking, oh, you've been having it for the past 3 weeks. Do you have any other symptoms like vomiting, diarrhea, whatever it is? You know, and they will keep asking questions, and it's a hit and miss. If you say yes, they will round it down to a certain number of diagnosis. If you say no, then they know which to eliminate. And just like in the show House, you will notice that they go by differential diagnosis, which means that they eliminate the things that they believe are not going to be the problem that you have. Now this is very important. Okay, this is very important in your marketing, in your copywriting. The thing is that you have to ask questions, right? You have to ask questions of your target market, and these questions are to be answered, and when you hear the answer, you will have to get the answer and put it in your copywriting. Let me tell you what. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, let's see. Let's say I'm in the tuition market, right? I'm teaching students who are struggling to go from C's and D's to A's and B's. Yeah, I know my target market very well, right? I know I've asked them all the questions. I've asked them, so what is their biggest concern? I'll ask the parent, what's the biggest concern? And the parents will always reply things like, oh, my child has so many careless mistakes, especially excuse me, let me get some water. Sorry, I just had some nuts, you know, like some almonds and almonds. Yeah, anyway, so as I was saying, I know exactly what my market wants. You know, I know exactly the problem. I know exactly what the problems are. So, for example, the parents would say, "Oh, I know my child. You know, he says so many careless mistakes when it comes to math. You know, he knows how to do it, but he just doesn't seem to be able to answer them right. You know, and that's something that is very prominent. Another thing would be, oh, you know, he's been working very, very hard on his math, but he just doesn't seem to get the concepts. So I will put this into my copywriting. I'll say things like, later on you will see, but I'll say things like, does your child experience, you know, careless mistakes? Does your child make careless mistakes with his math, even though he knows how to do the topics? Or maybe does your child have some conceptual errors that stops him from moving forward? You know, and if you ask these questions and the prospects, your prospects say yes, you are getting them to agree with you. You are building a rapport with them, and that will really help you with your marketing. So that's the second step. And the third step is your prognosis. So the doctor might say most people recover quickly after surgery, but there may be some complications. So what is this about? Here's the prognosis. It's the result if untreated. That means what we do is we say that, okay, you know what, you have all these problems, but if you do not treat this problem by buying my program or by buying my products or services, guess what will happen? Your child will continue making careless mistakes. His self-esteem will go down, and you know what, over time this will just lead to worse and worse results. Now, do you want that to happen? You get it? So that's the results if untreated. At the flip side, you also tell them what is the result if it is treated. So for example, you can say, you know what, there is a possibility that we can treat your child by having a particular program where we use the VAK model, which is a visual what's it called, audio and kinesthetic model, where we share with your child how to be really careful and then move him from not being able to answer the questions on the first try because of careless mistakes to get him to answer the questions right now. Now, over time, this would result in your child having better results, in a better self-esteem, and his careless mistakes might just disappear. But that's where the but comes in, and this is where the damaging admission. There is a damaging admission which says, but you know what, we've tried this on, with all the kids, and there is a 70% success rate. I'm not going to say that your child might get it, but there is a possibility that he might. A 7 in 10 chance is a very good chance. So this is exactly what doctors do, and you can do it. I just shown you how to do it in your marketing as well, right? And that's really effective. The key thing here that I want to stress is number one, which is result if untreated. You want to make them feel the pain and make them realize that if they do nothing, they will feel this pain even more, and it will be prolonged over a period of time. And you have a solution, but that solution is not foolproof, right? It only works if you work it or something like that, So that's the prognosis part. And lastly, you move on to the prescription. So you know what they say? They say drop the prescription on your way out and proceed to make payment. Yes, that's the best part, right? Here's the thing. It's doctor's orders. You cannot say things like, oh, doc, it's like, this is really expensive. I can't afford to pay $300 for this prescription. It's too expensive. The doctor will just tell you, oh, I'm sorry, but if you want to get well, that's what you gotta do, right? Do you want to get well? And of course the answer is yes. So if you notice, a lot of us will never ever question the doctor. Number one, because he has authority, and number two is because we really want to get well, right? Now, if you are able to position your products and services that way, that will really change how people buy from you. That will really change your response. So it's doctor's orders, and let me just talk to you about this very quickly. A lot of people will argue about price. They will ask you, oh, is there a discount? They will ask you, is there can you give it at a lesser price, or is there like a promotion going on? But here's the thing. My uncle always tells me this. People argue price in the absence of value. Okay, let me say that again. People argue price in the absence of value. So if people don't see it as valuable, they would argue about price. But if they don't, if they see that that's so valuable, and you know what, if you put in the urgency elements of saying, oh, this is only the first 10, then they would really go for it. And that would definitely not lead to you having people going like, oh, what's the price, why is it so expensive? There will not be any of those objections. Okay, so, and of course they make payment immediately. And of course the last part is they leave happy, right? This leaving happy part is really important. You know, people have to know that they have made the right decision. And we leave the doctors. I know I leave the doctors when I'm sick. You know, I bought got the prescription, and I know in my heart that I'm gonna get well. You know what? I'm gonna get well in a matter of like a few hours or a few days after I take the medicine. But but I haven't even taken the medicine yet. It's just this certainty, knowing that it's gonna work out. So same thing, how does your prospects feel after they have bought from you? Do they just receive a receipt and that's it, game over? They don't see you anymore for the next 2 days or 3 days until they come down for another treatment or whatever it is? You have to keep them happy. There's a concept called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance means that when people do something when they are feeling, what's the word? When they are feeling like compelled, right? And they are making an impulse decision, right? So when they make an impulse decision, right after they experience something called cognitive dissonance, which goes like, no, I let my feelings get in the way of logic, right? So what happens is they will go, oh no, what did I do? Is this gonna work? And they start worrying and worry they might end up asking for your money back. But if you are able to make them feel like what I feel, or what many people feel when they leave the doctors, even though they have not taken the prescription, they have not eaten anything, a medicine or whatever, or haven't gone through a surgery, and they feel that happiness, then you would have done your job as a marketer. And that's the most important part. Okay, so let me show you the parallels between the doctors and the copywriters. So just now I said here's why and how the doctors make a fortune without even trying, right? Now I say here's why copywriters make a fortune without even trying. So the first thing was, the doctors, you have a pain. For copywriters, we go for a hungry, thirsty, whatever you want to call it, a hungry, thirsty market, right? One that has a pain, to be resolved, because this is the best market to go for. Number two, the doctors have the diagnosis, right? We have the ability to identify the problems, to talk to people, and it's all about listening, guys. It's all about talking to your target market and identifying the problems that they have and putting it in to your copy and making them feel like, oh, what, this guy, he knows exactly what I'm going through, and he probably has the solution. And that's when I say the prognosis. We have something we promise, right? We promise that there is a solution to this. We know that this can happen, this can work out for you, and of course the last part is we have to have proof, right? We have to have proof that this has worked for other people, and then we can promise that with certainty. But of course, if you don't have any proof, that's still possible, because you can say, you know what, other people have tried this before, have done this this procedure, this program, and they've gotten the results that they want. So you can still show that, right? And lastly, doctor's orders, the prescription, right? I call it the solution offer. Basically, you offer a solution, and your offer, or your what we call is your proposition. Your offer is going to be something that gives them the solution, right? Your offer will be something that they can see it as, you know what, if I take this, I am going to solve all the problems that is associated with this. Not in my life, but that is associated with this. So let's recap everything. Number one, doctors, I'm in pain. I just want to stop. I need to see a doctor. So remember that you have a pain. you have a compelling desire to get rid of it, and there is an urgency to get rid of it now. Use these elements at the start of your copy. You move on, you talk about the questions, right? You have to ask what questions. You have to listen to your target market, and then you write down what their problems are to show them that you understand them, to show them that you really truly can identify the cause of these problems and that you can solve it. And that's how you go about your prognosis, and you tell them, you know what, you are in pain, but if you are not going to do anything about it, you're going to be more in pain, and if you do something about it, it's going to be a change. But of course, there is a damaging admission, which means that, you know, there might not work for everyone. It might work for some people, but there's a chance that it's going to work. So lastly, get the prescription, right? Doctor's orders. So make payment and make them feel like they've gotten the results that they want. They leave happy even if they have not done a single thing yet. So like I said, here's why copywriters make a fortune without even trying. Number one, there is a hungry market. Number two, you have to identify the problem. Number three, you have to promise and prove. And number four, you have to give the solution offer. That's how you do it. Now let me just share with you some examples. Just now in the video, you would have seen that I have this copy that I was talking to you about. If you can see it, I don't know if you can see it, but it applies every single thing that I just shared with you. Let me give you a better look at this. So at the start it says, who else wants to see their child score an A in math? Now of course, this is not in line with it's not in line with whatever I shared with you just now, because this is a very short copy, and the first thing we need to get is attention, right? You want to get attention. This goes back to the age-old formula of AIDA: attention, interest, desire, and action. So at the start, I want to get attention. I really want to get attention, and I show them what is the result that is possible. And number two, I move on to show the proof, right? I show them that based on same method, I transform a failing math student's grade from a D7 into an A1 for O levels in just 3 short months. I go on to show more proof. I show the before and I show them the after. And of course, right, I have this thing that the prognosis which says start early, don't wait until it's too late, which says basically if left untreated, your problem might get worse. And of course, lastly, I have the prescription, which is the web. So go to the website and we'll get a free trial or whatever it is, or call me, give me a call on the number, and that's that's the result. And I've also done this before for my other stuff. It's a flyer. It is exactly the same, but this time I have the questions that I was telling you about. So if you can see it, it's a bit small, but it says, does your child hate math? That's the biggest reason why most children do badly. We teach in an exciting manner that interests your child and gets him to want to practice it. More practice, more marks. So it starts with the problem, it goes to the solution, and it goes to the prognosis of what's possible. It says your child doesn't understand the questions. Wrong. Your child doesn't know what the topic is about. So it confirms their suspicion that, you know what, it's not that they don't understand the question, is that they don't know what the topic is about at all. And I say we create a solid foundation for your child. Basic concepts are most important to success. I go on to say, is your child always making costly, careless mistakes during exams? We condition your child through our 3-step system that gets him to cool down and work things out systematically. And of course, I move on to show start early, please don't wait until it's too late. There's still proof on the side, and of course, call to action, call the number now. This is what the copywriting has I've done with copywriting, and these things, believe it or not, have given me a lot of calls. The one on the left, the one here, this pull-up stand, the one that I put outside my center over here, this has still been getting me calls, you know. I don't use that number anymore at the bottom. I mean, we use a company number, it's different, right? But I still get calls from that number, and I know that this is still working. I'll still get 2 to 3 calls per month. I don't even advertise this thing, so that's cool, right? And I want to share with you something that you have to be aware of, right? This is the most important radio channel you need to tune into. You might be thinking, what radio channel? Is it 91.3? Is it 92 FM? Is it 98.7 FM? No, it's called WII FM. Have you heard of it? Have you heard of We FM? No, it's not one of those we things, but it's actually what's in it for me. If you write everything in your copywriting from the point of view of your prospects, of your potential clients, you are going to get such a better response as compared to talking about your products or talking about your services. If you give them results before they even try your products, buy your products, then that's even better. So give them what that they want all the time. All right. So that's the end of this video, and you're going to want to watch the next training on how to position yourself as the doctor that I was telling you about. So what I talked about today was what the doctor does, and you can go out there and use this simple strategy to go start writing your website copy in a different manner, and guess what, it will really help. People that I shared this with has gone out there, take some action and gotten some results, and I want you to do the same. But the next step, of course, is how do we position you as that expert, as that trusted advisor, because you can be doing all those things, but how do you position yourself as a doctor? Because if people don't see you as the doctor and they see you just as a nurse, you will not get as much response, right? Just like how people, when they're sick, they don't go to the nurse, they go to the doctor. All right, so I hope that you have really learned something from this video, you've enjoyed yourself, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.